Prime Minister launches 10-year health plan. New health centre for MOTU KOITABU. And political party seminar discuss women's representation. Good evening, this is Tuesday's news. I'm Kilawani. A roadmap for the next 10 years in the health space for the country was launched today. The National Health Plan was launched by Prime Minister James Marape and witnessed by government officials and the Health Minister. In his keynote address, the Prime Minister made mention of the government's plan to build 22 new hospitals and thanked development partners for their commitment to partner in delivering health services to the people. He also challenged Health Secretary Dr. Osborne Liko to ensure quality health systems and facilities by utilizing the allocated 2.5 billion kina in the national budget.
The ribbon, and with the cutting of the ribbon, it is officially launched by the Prime Minister.
The National Health Plan 2021 to 2030 was launched today at the Hilton Hotel in Port Moresby. With the slogan, "Leaving no one behind is everyone's business," the 10-year plan encompasses a number of key principles.
After an extensive consultations with all our health partners and the stakeholders, the National Health Plan 2021-2030 is a simple and realistic plan influenced by the expectations that financial resources will be limited for at least the next 5 years, as we have realized from COVID-19 and the pandemic and the global economy situations. Despite these constraints, the new plan seeks to deliver a system for everyone, leaving no one behind, the theme taken from universal health coverage. And focusing on our key challenges and building on our preparedness for what we don't know is coming. It is built on these key principles: people-centered care, services that are focused on people.
Minister for Health Jalta Wong stated during his speech, the plan is an important strategic document intended to guide implementation. It is the 7th National Health Plan since independence.
This plan is developed during one of the most challenging times when we are experiencing global COVID-19 pandemic that has overwhelmed our health system with added pressure and strain out of the country's economy, making it even more challenging to deliver health services. The roadmap for health in the next 10 years is here in this plan. It is the result of ongoing efforts by policymakers, for our committed team within the sector and our external stakeholders who have contributed and worked tirelessly to ensure that this plan will provide clear, simple directions to deliver health services in Papua New Guinea more effectively.
Prime Minister acknowledged the efforts of all stakeholders in piecing together the National Health Plan and highlighted the need for the NHP and challenged the implementers.
This plan that we're also mounting today, I think it is fair we pay respect to them for a little bit of time, because we live in the face of people who passed on through COVID-19 and every other illnesses. And I just want us to take a bit of moment to pay respect to them, and chief amongst them we remember is Dr. Dakulala. And for me, if I were to summarize what we want, I'll just give you a line, Mr. Health Secretary, for you to embrace this line and quotation and make it work. That should entail the entire health plan that you put out for us. For the plan that we're putting is not an academic, should not be an academic plan that is collecting dust in your office here at the central office. This plan must be embraced, consummated, and absorbed by all of us who are out there to ensure we play a part in making the health sector plan in our country work. And so the quotation I'm leaving behind for you, Mr. Health Secretary, is simply this: a quality health system and facility must be within reach by 1 hour of walking, or 1 hour of driving, or 1 hour of boat, or 1 hour of medevac in our country. We're dealing with our people's life, and we want to save our people's life as we work the health system going forward. Why do I say walking? House people are still in our remotest areas. So it is your business now with our PHAs. PHAs, I come to you because you stand beneficiary to the devolution of functions that already has been transferred to you. Health system meaning the machines, delivery of the medicines, delivery of the system. So you measure your success in the next 5 years, Mr. Health Secretary. I will be around as a leader of our country. I don't know whatever capacity post-August 2022, only God knows. But I will still be around, and I will hold you to your word as you give in the plan that we are launching today.
Important stakeholders from both the private and the public sector recognize the significance of the plan, including international development partners like the World Health Organization.
The National Health Plan provides a roadmap for the next 10 years. It is designed to implement the government's development priorities and reforms to achieve the key target strategic goals of PNG Vision 2050. It is the means by which the government will invest in new infrastructure, enhance health workforce capacity, and address the critical health issues that Papua New Guinea continues to face.
The National Health Plan 2021 to 2030 lays out a roadmap of reform and a journey towards achieving universal health coverage. It is an opportunity to build back better, or rather, to build forward better. The journey towards universal health coverage for Papua New Guinea will not be an easy one. In fact, it is a journey of a long road full of unpaved tracks, river crossings, and open sea journeys, mirroring much the geography of this beautiful country.
This goal is to all our health workers out there in our country. This is the time that we all stand together once again for our nation's health. All the health workers, doctors, nurses, community health workers, everybody. Standing together and working together, we will deliver for our people. So I'm calling upon all our health workers in the country. Your government has delivered, the department has delivered. We as implementer have to deliver the outcomes at the end of the day.
After years of wait, the people of MOTU KOITABU will finally have a health center. The health center will be built in 2 years' time with a funding of 25 million kina from the Australian government. A groundbreaking ceremony at Hanua Bada today was officiated by MOTU KOITABU Chairman Daddy Toka Jr., NCD Governor Powers Pakop, and the Australian High Commissioner John Philp.
A memorandum of understanding was signed before the groundbreaking ceremony took place.
And now as our 5 signatories assemble to break ground.
The new health center will be built at Metorea in Hanua Bada. According to MOTU KOITABU Assembly Chairman Daddy Toka Jr., it has been decades since the people of MOTU KOITABU last saw such projects.
Many proposals of such health infrastructure have been talked about, but none have materialized yet. So today we thank the Australian government for coming back to help an old friend. We are rekindling a relationship that goes back more than 100 years. We thank the key partnerships with United Church, NCD Provincial Health Authority, and NCDC for the future delivery of this landmark health facility to the Indigenous people of the city.
An emotional chairman highlighted struggles the people face when it comes to accessing health services. He said the struggle will be over in 2 years' time.
But in 2 years' time, ladies and gentlemen, our MOTU KOITABU people will have access to their first level 3 health facility that meets the needs now and into the future. Our mothers with their children will no longer have to walk from Elevala to Kokotabu for routine children's immunization. In 2 years' time, we will have a cancer screening facility closer to home. In 2 years' time, we will have a TB clinic closer to home. In 2 years' time, our pregnant mothers at Tatana and Baruni can use this facility to deliver their babies under professional medical care instead of birthing at home.
Australian High Commissioner to PNG John Philp thanked the United Church in Papua New Guinea for allowing the project to be constructed on their premises.
And I'm really pleased that not just the Uniting Church, but the MOTU Koita Assembly, the Provincial Health Authority and City Commission have shared that commitment to improving people's lives here. Those contributions include planning for and supporting, most importantly, future workforce needs to make sure the new clinic is properly staffed and funded into the future.
Sister Helen Dawanikura, who operates a small clinic in Hanobada, says the new health center will be helpful to her. According to Dawanikura, she serves patients not only from the village but other nearby areas.
This health center that's going to be built will be cater for a lot of people, for Hanobada people as well as neighboring. I know that our people are going to be very happy to come here and use the services here.
Podivai, National MTV News.
You're watching National MTV News. More stories after these messages. Welcome back to the news. The issue of ethical leadership and women's representation in politics was the center of discussion today at the 10th Political Party Policy Seminar. The quality of leaders being voted in is an issue. Also, more representation of women in Parliament is needed.
Good ethical leaders in Parliament and in society is something that has been lacking, though citizens praise their leaders. Not often do they practice good ethical morals. Ethical leadership was one of the main issues discussed among 3 political parties today at the Political Party Policy Seminar hosted by the National Research Institute and the Registrar of Political Parties. Newly formed PNG Liberal Party says teaching Christian principles in schools can improve leadership quality in the future.
Liberal Democratic Party's perspective, Nipa Pasana Bandem, Christian education syllabus teaching. Time beginning is stability here. Get plenty scriptural evidence and stuff. When you teach a child way to go, he or she will never depart and deviate from it. Means I'm beginning in Bible. So we stand to support this long ethical values.
For good parliamentary leaders, the Melanesian Liberal Party, whose parliamentary leader is Dr. Alan Marrett, a strong man in the opposition, the General Secretary says society must choose good leaders with ethical principles.
Reading this background, we know what kind of a leader this might be, and we give it to the local organization to help select the person that is, if there are more than 3 people vying for the position.
The One Nation Party had 3 solid policies on creating 3 separate ministries for the church, youth and women, something that they see important in society.
Ministry of Women, especially to oversee the work of national government assistance to women. Like the churches and youth, if women issues and concerns are addressed properly, our women will play a much greater role in nation building. The above-mentioned 3 policies upon 4 separate ministries for church, youth and women are core fundamental pillars of the party's policies and platform.
The Registrar of Political Parties, Alphonse Gelu, in his closing statement of today's seminar, said the lack of women being voted into Parliament was not reflective of society.
Democracies, you will find that the composition of the legislature must reflect the composition of society. Okay, from 2017 to 2022, we did not have any women. So our parliament basically did not reflect, or does not reflect, the composition of our society. You will get all matters of our beginning, all very good. Okay, that is very important, it's quite serious, it's quite critical.
Fidelis Sukina, National MTV News.
The Hege Community Development Cooperative in the Ungaibena district of Eastern Highlands launched a newly built resource center and cooperative society last week at Nagamito village. This resource center will enable the group to seek assistance on behalf of the people, whether it is funding, materials or training from the government or development partners.
The opening of the new resource center saw development partners, friends and the Hege Community Development Corporation gather to witness the ribbon cutting done by the Ungaibena MP, Benny Allen, and Coffee Industry Corporation's Chief Operation Officer, Stephen Tumai. CIC Chief Operations Officer Stephen Tumai congratulated the group and said hard work brings positive changes to an individual, a group and a community. Tumai highlighted that a cooperative group is supposed to work together to bring about necessary benefits and changes to a community. He told the Hege community that being in such a cooperative group will enable them to seek assistance, whether it is in a form of funding, materials, or training from the government or development partners. When congratulating them, Ungaibena MP Benny Allen encouraged the members and community to leave behind differences and help to nurture the group going forward. He said groups such as these takes years to put something tangible. However, he commended HCDC for working hard within the space of 3 months to put up the resource center.
Now call him Hege Community Development Cooperative. So we plans also in 3 weeks that's all, 3 months that's all. Only working this cooperative building lo have na office mo to here so. But we talk some milestone achievement lo sopla tanto that's all. Kirapin this where DDA in 20,000 also. People have mass local witnessing this opening or this cooperative opening. People also at the same time today, people give one for 20,000 or some seed capital or Kirapin making some work here. So we talk thank you, Lord. Community got this in this diva where all Kirapin are working this So government now got this policy to encourage more. Come on, it cooperative so. Government can go on it as a cooperative na help me bagaman o narba o stakeholders o partners ikam and bagon challenge la community or cooperative or association so I think it's la community problem lo nakamito emi phone ina mo te policy lo government so mila government ikamia na all arba stakeholders na partners ikamia and because of to like supporting is la government policy ya policy stop funding to stop emotion so we like can really support we like etim jubla lo work bon mantel you mean like awesome Islam must sustain man.
The Ungaibena District Development Authority previously gave 20,000 kina with 200 sheets of roofing iron to HCDC, which enabled them to build a resource center. Jamie Harrow, National MTV News.
Grade 11 online selection for 9 secondary schools in Morobe is currently underway in Leh. The selections are being done by the secondary school principals with assistance of IT officers from each school. Provincial Guidance Officer Marian Kuman said the online process is more transparent and lowers the chances of cheating during selections.
The grade 11 online selections for Morobe began this week and is expected to be completed by Friday. The selections are being conducted by 11 officers, which include the 9 principals of the 9 secondary schools in the province, the provincial guidance officer, and an IT personnel. Marian Kuman, the provincial guidance officer, said so far the process has been smooth and that the selection list should be out by next week.
We are already online. Our principals and our deputies are well acquainted and well versed with the system, so they're already into it. Hopefully by Friday we will wind up everything and we would have a list ready for OK Combra to sign, and then that list will go out to our parents and the province for them to see where the students are going, which secondary schools they are placed in.
The online selection was launched in 2017 under the National Electronic System for Verification and Selection of Education Candidates. Mrs. Kuman said the system has proved transparency and convenience since its inception in the province. The process makes it easier for selectors who work with an eligible list of candidates. All they have to do is slot the names of candidates into secondary schools of preferences and according to space.
With this online selection, like I said, it with one talk system or nepotism, it's already out now. We're only looking at the eligible list, and also it's faster. We can do it quickly. Once we log in, we see their names, we put them to the schools where there are spaces, and we're done.
The selection process is usually done in a week, 4 days of selection and a day of dealing with parental requests. The selection list for grade 11s of Morbe Province for 2022 is expected to be put out on school notice boards by next week. Charlene Eri, National EMTV News, Ley.
And now looking at the Nest Fund market report, the kina closed unchanged at $0.2850 in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, your kina is buying $0.2775 $0.3929 Australian dollars, $0.4073 New Zealand dollars, and 30.72 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, gold is trading lower, coffee and cocoa closed higher, copper closed lower, crude oil is trading higher, palm oil and copper closed lower. And on the stock market, the Dow Jones closed lower, the ASX 200 is trading higher, and the All Ordinaries is trading lower. You're watching National EMTV News. More stories after the break. Welcome back to the news. A medical student at the University of Papua New Guinea is amongst 5 best designers shortlisted in JAX of PNG's Design PNG 2020 competition. JAX will launch the 5 designers collections tomorrow.
Currently, I'm in the UPNG, stablo health science lo manam taroma medfag. So I'm school side too. I'm plenty work na making bad. I'm obviously I miss I'm during all 3 hours or time me cat then I miss put him call side lo obviously na. Bad to describe him because I'm first of its kind of life domina. Mi lugumol man very design blomi lo nala brown mi ba au master na mi ba go approach mo na to game design mi make him lene na ba mi go na to mo lo sem big plus something straight lo life domin.
And back home, the work permit function of the Department of Labor and Industrial Relations is now being merged with the work visa function under the Immigration and Citizenship Authority. Prime Minister James Marape launched the merger arrangement today at the Immigration and Citizenship Authority headquarters at the Central Government Office.
Prime Minister James Marape officially launched the new merger arrangement of work permit with work visa at the Immigration and Citizenship Authority headquarters inside Central Government Office. This is to formally endorse the transfer of work permit from Department of Labor and Industrial Relations to the ICA.
Thank you very much. The merge of the wing that handles the employment issues, especially when our first contact is made for foreign workers to come into our country and to fuse them into the Immigration Authority is, I think, in order and timely, in my view, because the immigration section here, you deal with the border issue.
All work permit staff, assets and IT infrastructure from Labour Department have been successfully transferred and work is ready to commence in January of 2022. By 12th January 2022, all companies will have to lodge work permit applications at the immigration counters at Central Government Office instead of Labour Department, which has been the case in the past.
Those issues that we need to tidy as a country so that loopholes are fixed and we secure our border, physical borders, cyber borders, and the borders we have in our system of government, including our public policies. And I just want to appreciate you, the Honourable Tomai Kapeli, and your leadership. You were not territorial, you were not defensive, but you saw the big picture, as we are seeing in our effort to take back PNG and strengthen our country from where we are, so that every child born into this country has an equal opportunity for employment and prosperity in our own land. And not
the consolidation of work permit function into the PNG ICSA will make a significant contribution to improving public sector efficiency and enhancing border security. Amendments were made to the Immigration and Citizenship Service Act 2010 and the Employment of Non-Citizens Act 2007 and related regulations in January this year, giving legislative effect to the transfer of responsibilities.
I must personally thank you again, Prime Minister, for taking the lead also to support myself, to sponsor the Cabinet submission, and also to bring the legislation into Parliament that received support and got the bills passed.
the labour market and it is the sole authority and various legislations and acts of Parliament of the department of which I'm in charge. The work permit arrangement which refers to which is for foreigners in employment. That particular function that is pretty to be moved upwards to the Immigration and Border Security Office.
This merger is aimed at creating a one-stop shop for work permit and visa applications and enabling the ease of doing business in the country. Dennis Orere, National EMTV News.
This is Tuesday's news. Trukai Sports is next. Stay tuned for the details.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. The 6 Mile Crows in their debut season have stormed into the A-grade division grand final of the Mosby South Rugby League.
Despite not originating from the Mosby South electorate, the 6 Mile Crows have been allowed to participate in the Mosby South Rugby Football League. In their debut season, the Crows have had a dream start to the competition, qualifying for the A-grade division grand final, after defeating Vada Vada United 16 points to 4 in the semi-final playoff last weekend.
Competition started 3 years ago, but we 6 Mile we did not took part. And then we just said and we see that we have so many good players around 6 Mile area. That's why this year we just we were interested and we are affiliated to this rugby league, Mosby South League, and then they accepted us. We did not take any players from outside. All the players that you see right now, they are all from 6 Mile area. And Dogura up towards 6 Mile and 7 Mile area.
6 Mile Crows team management were attracted to the MSRFL because of the high standard of matches displayed by the clubs and the effective management of the competition by its executives and officials.
Thank you for the Mosby South Rugby Football League, especially the chairman, patron, Brown Murema, and league management here for accepting us this season. We have people to support us. They were at the back of us. That's why we informed the president of this league, Mosby South Rugby League, and he said, "No, I'm accepting you guys." So I just want to say thank you for Mr. Brown Murema.
Huxley Lovai, Trukai Sports.
SP PNG Hunters senior player Kevin Apo has stated that the team is progressing well in training and the players are working together to make sure they are all well prepared for the 2022 season. The Hunters are in their 4th week of pre-season.
They were not going to be chosen if they're not the best. They're the best of the Digital Cup. That's why they have been selected into the team. So for the last 3 weeks that we've been training, they have been catching up pretty well, and we have been teaching each other. The boys that we were here before, we for the drills, some of the drills that the coaches have put up, and the new boys, they if they are when they are not too sure of what they're doing, then we tell them what to do and with each other as we are going. So they've been catching up really well. So I guess the coaches and most of the boys that we were here before, we were pretty happy with that.
That ends Trukai Sports. The weather report is next. All the details after the break.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
This weather update is proudly brought to you by MONI+, with you always.
Looking at the weather forecast for tonight and tomorrow, southern region, Port Moresby, partly cloudy with patchy rain, then morning, possible inland morning fog patches. Daru, Kerma and Alotau, partly cloudy with brief showers possible. Popondetta, partly cloudy with rain periods. For the Momase region, Ley, cloudy periods with some showers. Medang, Wewak and Vanimo, cloudy with some showers and possible thunderstorms. Looking at the New Guinea Islands region, Lorengau, Kavieng and Buka, cloudy with showers and thunderstorms. Kokopo, Robal and Kimbe, cloudy periods with few showers. In the Highlands region, all centers cloudy with rain periods, then morning fog. Forecasts for small crafts for the next 24 hours. Waters of southern PNG Indonesian through Daru, Yule Island, Hood Point to Samurai Islands, with waters of Samurai Islands to Cape Vogel, and eastern and western Milne Bay Islands, with waters of Cape Vogel through Huon Gulf to Whittier Strait, with waters of Whittier Strait to Wewak, and with that of New Britain, seas 0.5 to 1 meter. Waters of Wewak to northern PNG Indonesian border, seas 1 to 1.5 meters. Waters of Manus and its western group of islands, seas 1.5 to 2 meters. Waters of New Island to Bougainville, seas 0.5 to 1.5 meters. Ocean forecasts for PNG areas. Coral seas, seas smooth with east to southeast winds of 5 to 10 knots. Solomon seas, seas smooth with southeast to southwest winds of 5 to 10 knots, tending westerly about 4 p.m. tomorrow. Bismarck seas, seas smooth, becoming slight about 3 p.m. tomorrow, with southeast to southwest winds of 5 to 10 knots, tending northwest winds of 10 to 15 knots about 3 p.m. tomorrow. Pacific Ocean seas light to moderate with northwest winds at 10 to 20 knots.
The weather update was proudly brought to you by MONI+, with you always.
And that's the news, sports and weather for Tuesday, 7th of December 2021. Until next time, have a pleasant evening. Be safe. Bye for now.